And a New Jersey judge has upheld the validity of 2 trust funds created by the late Mrs. Laura Tyler, a vendor, as long as they are administered by private trustees. Those are the Rice and Holman headlines from the WKDN newsroom. This is Art Milner with the news at noon. A complete 15-minute wrap-up of news of the world in the greater Delaware Valley. First, on the local and regional scene, speaking for Rice and Holman, the largest Ford organization in the East, here is WKDN's news director, Jim Donahue.
More than 100,000 workers struck this morning against the Ford Motor Company, but there's a chance it will soon be over. The Auto Workers Union got a new offer from Ford just before the strike deadline at 11 a.m., and the union promised an almost immediate reply. Negotiators for the company and the union bargained all night long, and the final issue unresolved was the question of retroactivity, the union demanding that new contract terms extend back to June 1st. This would cost Ford an estimated $6 million. The strike against the company is affecting workers in our area. At the Ford Company's auto parts depot in Pennsauken, 252 hourly workers walked off their jobs at 10 a.m., 1 hour before the strike deadline. A token picket line was established in front of the building on Route 130, but most of the other strikers went home. 93 salaried employees are still on the job. At Chester, where Ford has a large assembly plant, 1,200 hourly workers walked out at 10 o'clock, as well as at the Mercury plant in Metuchen and the Ford assembly plant at Mahwah. There are 1,225 workers idled at Metuchen, and at Mahwah, near the New York-New Jersey border, 4,000 union employees are out. Smaller plants at Edison and Teterboro are also on strike. Salvage crews working in Elizabeth say they have recovered 6 more bodies from Newark Bay at the spot where 3 Jersey Central passenger coaches and 2 locomotives rammed through an open drawbridge on Monday. This brings the toll of known dead to 27. 5 of the bodies were recovered when the last of the 3 passenger cars was raised early today. The 6th victim was picked up last night. The Jersey Central Railroad says it will keep operating and meet all its obligations arising from Monday's wreck. But the line, hard-pressed financially, has declined to reveal how much public liability insurance it carries to meet claims arising from such a disaster. The New Jersey State Superior Court has ruled that 2 trusts set up under a $400,000 will are valid providing they are administered by private trustees. The ruling by Judge Lester Dreck came on the will of the late Mrs. Laura Tyler, a former resident of Ventnor. Her will set up 1 trust to provide food and clothing for needy white American-born wives and children of inmates of Pennsylvania's Eastern State Penitentiary. The second granted free hospitalization at Philadelphia's Hahnemann Hospital to needy white American-born children. Both had been administered by the Philadelphia Board of City Trusts. The court's decision follows that of the Stephen Gerard will case. The Campbell Soup Company in Camden says it has passed the $1.5 billion mark in annual sales for the first time in its history. The firm reports that during a 53-week fiscal year ending August 3rd, it showed a total sales figure of more than $501,385,000. That's a 13.7% increase over the previous year. Commencement exercises for 21 graduating nurses at West Jersey Hospital's School of Nursing were held last night at Collingswood High School. Diplomas were presented by Arnold K. Weber, a member of the hospital's Board of Trustees. And the Haddon Township Commission last night received a petition asking that the question of legalized bingo and raffles be put on the November ballot. The petition, bearing 1,246 names, was presented by Frank Luker, former sheriff of Camden County. Under the bingo raffles legislation, voters must first approve it before it becomes legal. At Philadelphia, the former director of the Women's Weekend Retreat League at Malvern, the Reverend James W. Gibbons, has died. Father Gibbons was 61 years old. I'll have more on the local and regional scene after news from Rice.
Double Talk by Al Kelly. Now for Straight Talk, listen to this.
Well, here's the Straight Talk. As proved in the NASCAR Supervised Economy Run for automobiles, the Ford 6 is the unbeatable economy champion, with conclusive results in a story of true, tested mileage. Ford averaged almost a mile more per gallon than the so-called American economy car. Yes, this was done in a better than 2,000-mile test supervised by the National Racing Organization, NASCAR. And what's more, Ford actually costs less with radio and heater than this so-called American economy car. And Ford has these other features: ease of handling, Ford ballpoint suspension, Ford foam rubber cushions, longer wheelbase, added weight, all contributing to a more pleasant, comfortable ride. Yes, get the straight facts. Don't be misled. The Ford Custom 6 is the real economy buy in cars today. And for a real straight deal, remember, you can't beat Rice & Holman, who sell more new and used cars than any dealer regardless of make in the entire Delaware Valley. Ask today about the Ford Economy Leader, the Custom 6, or the Ranch Wagon at Rice & Holman, Maple Avenue in Merchantville, and on the Admiral Wilson Boulevard. Both locations open until 10 p.m.
A 65-year-old woman, Daisy Lamb, was killed yesterday when struck by an automobile while she was crossing Route 130 in front of her home at Bridgeboro. State troopers at the Edgewater Park State Police Barracks identified the driver as 74-year-old Jack Schatz of Gloucester City. Schatz told police Mrs. Lamb stepped from a safety island into the path of his car. And the 73-year-old Blackwood woman, Mrs. Elizabeth Prickett, is in West Jersey Hospital today with injuries suffered when she was struck by a taxi cab as she attempted to cross Black Horse Pike near her home. Mrs. Prickett is under treatment for hip and back injuries. Results of 2 special school district elections are in. At Maple Shade, voters approved a $450,000 bond issue for a new grade school and an addition to an existing one. And voters in the Gloucester County townships of Franklin and Elk have approved the creation of a regional high school district with construction of a $1,750,000 high school. Over on the Trenton scene, the future of State Motor Vehicle Director Frederick Gassert rests with Attorney General David Furman. Governor Minor says it's up to Furman to decide whether Gassert, one of Furman's division chiefs, should be retained after disclosures that thousands of drivers have missed penalties under New Jersey's point system. Furman said earlier this week they didn't think the point system mix-up, which Gassert admitted he sanctioned, was grounds for ousting the Harrison lawyer. The governor's personal opinion of the whole affair is that Gassert has done what he calls reasonably well in a rather difficult area. But he is quick to add that he feels there is no excuse for anyone to escape penalties.